Hey guys, what's up? It's Ranju here from Green IAS. So, today we are going to study a new chapter of Indian polity, that is key elements of a democratic government. In the previous class, we have studied about the government, that is from the chapter 3. So, let's start. First of all, the key elements that influence the working of a democratic government are people's participation, the resolution of conflict, and equality and justice. So you can see here at the first part of the chapter, it is given that there are some key elements that are there in order to influence for the working of democratic government. Which are they? That is the people's participation, the resolution of a conflict, and equality and justice. So we can study deeply in those concepts. First, South Africa is a country that has people of several races, we know. Okay, there are black people who belong to South Africa, whites who came there to settle, and Indians who came as laborers and traders. So it is saying about South Africa. We know about South Africa. There are a lot of several races of people are there. Mostly black people who belong to South Africa, and some of the whites are there who came to settle there, and Indians also came there as laborers and traders. In early times, the South Africa was governed by apartheid laws. So, apartheid, what is meant by apartheid? Do you know? Okay, apartheid means separation on the basis of race. Okay. And we have seen this term in Hindu newspaper like that. So apartheid means separation on the basis of race. South African people were divided into white, black, Indian and colored races. According to the law, these races were not allowed to mingle with each other, to live near each other, or even to use common facilities. So, according to the law of the South African people, the different races were not allowed to mingle with each other, and they cannot live each other, and cannot use common facilities. In those days, hospitals were separate, and so were ambulances. Okay. So there were separate ambulances and separate hospitals for the different races of people. An ambulance meant for white people would always be well equipped, while one meant for black people was not. It is saying that for the white people there was a well equipped ambulance is available, but in the case of black people there was not such well equipped ambulance was there. There were separate trains and buses. Okay. Even the bus stops were different for black and white people. So that much discrimination was there in South Africa. Non-whites were not allowed to vote. Okay, non-whites, that is the black people, were not allowed to vote. The best land in the country was reserved for the white people, and non-whites had to live on the worst available land. Thus, blacks and colored people were not considered to be equal to whites. Okay. The African National Congress, a group of people who led the struggle against apartheid, and their most well-known leader Nelson Mandela fought the apartheid system for several years. So we know about the famous eminent person Nelson Mandela from South Africa. He have fought for many years to escape from or root out all these types of discriminations. from South Africa. Finally, they succeeded, and in 1994, South Africa became a democratic country in which people of all races were considered equal. So, when does South Africa became democratic country? Yes, in 1994, South Africa became a democratic country in which people of all races were considered equal. Then the next is participation. Through voting in elections, people elect leaders to represent them. We know, okay, during elections, the people elect leaders to represent them. These representatives take decisions on behalf of the people. In doing so, it is assumed that they will keep in mind the voices and interests of the people. So, we have studied in this the previous class. The representatives are working on the likes of the people. All governments are elected for fixed periods. We know in India the period is 5 years. Okay, in each 5 years there is election taking place. Once elected, governments can stay in power only for that period. After the 5-year period, the election taking place again and new government is formed. If they want to continue to be in power, then they have to be re-elected by the people. So how can a government can re-elected again? If the government is working on the likes of the people or desires of the people, and who can know the mind of the people, then only they can reappear again in the as the government, new government. Okay, for example, the corruption full government cannot repeat in their as the government position, because the people know. The people have to elect the representatives without corruption. So like that. If they want to continue to be in the power, then they have to be re-elected by the people. This is a moment when people can sense their power in a democracy. So it is just showing the power of people in democracy. In this way, the power of the government gets limited by regular elections. We know, as in the previous class I have said that in certain countries there are monarchy type government is there. So there is no such democratic elections are there, so that the government is repeatedly governing the people. But in a democracy, the people have the power to remove or re-elect the representatives again, not to form the government. Then the section is other ways of participating. Besides voting, there are other ways of participating in the process of government. People participate by taking an interest in the working of the government and by criticizing it when required. So, it is said that the people, they get participated in the democracy by electing the representatives. In other case, the people can participate in the working of government or in the democracy by protesting against the corruption-full policies of government, by making riots or strikes, rallies, or by criticizing the government like that. In August 2005, when a particular government increased the money people had to pay for electricity, people expressed their disapproval very sharply. So, an example is given here. In August 2005, the government has tremendously increased the money for the electricity, So uh, so it so the people started to begin rallies against these types of policy. The government tried to explain and defend its decision, but finally listened to the people's opinion and withdrew its increase. So it is given that in 2005 there was a tremendous increase in the electricity for the people. So they protested and fought against the government, so that at last the government decreased the amount of electricity. So that is the power of the people in the democracy or in the government. The government had to change its decision because it is responsible to the people. If unfavorable policies or rules are taken by the government, then the people has the right to protest against those laws and regulations. Then there are many ways in which the people express their views and make governments understand what actions they should take. What these include dharnas, rallies, strikes, signature campaigns, etc. So it is the same point we have earlier said. Things that are unfair and unjust are also brought forward. So it is saying that if the government is taking unfair and unjust policies against the people, then the people have the right to start dharnas, rallies, strikes, signature campaigns, even riots like that. The newspapers, magazines and TV like media has also an important role in these types of government issues and responsibilities. And in order to discuss the responsibility of the government, while it is true that a democracy allows people to participate, it is also true that not all sections of people are actually able to do so. Another way for people to participate is by organizing themselves into social movements that seek to challenge the government and its functioning. The members of the minority community, Dalits, Adivasis, women and others are often able to participate in this manner. We know in the rural areas or tribal areas, the most of the people cannot participate in the government or democracy effectively. Most of the influencing people are actively participating there. So by organizing themselves into social movements by the minority community, Dalits, Adivasis, women like that, they can actively participate in the democracy. If a country's people are alert and interested in how the country is run, the democratic character of the government of that country will be stronger. Okay. If the people of area is well aware about what the policies are making by the government and what is the how effectively the government is running. So when people think actively about that, then only the rule of the government, the function of government rule become effective. Okay. When there is the active participation of the people is there, then only the government can function properly. For example, if some of the people are very unaware of the government's actions and they are not interested in government's policies like that, then there is a chance for the government to act in a corruption manner. Okay. So we have to keep a sense for how the government works. Is it effectively or on the opposite manner? The next is need to resolve conflict. So friends, here some of the points are seeming useless. So just listen and grasp the ideas that is seeming important for you. Okay. Then I need to resolve conflict. We know there are many conflicts are there in our society. So government and other factors like police, court, Supreme Court, High Court has also an important role to solve those conflicts. Conflicts occur when people of different cultures, regions, or economic backgrounds do not get along with each other, or when some among them feel they are being discriminated against. Okay, if the when the people began to make out that the government is not listening them or helping them in a good manner, then the people began to protest against the government. The influenced or rich or business people can actually influence the government, and they can get a lot of beneficiaries from government, but the poor people, the tribal people, women, sometimes the children cannot actively involved in the government's policies. So this may create an agitation among them. The government is responsible for helping to resolve conflicts also. So when some the religious based conflicts are taking place in a area, then the government have a role to resolve that problem there. The Indian Constitution lays down the basic rules or laws that have to be followed by everyone. We know there is Indian Constitution in which there are a lot of basic rules and regulations are there. We can follow that rules, and everyone have to follow that in an equal manner. These laws are for both the government and the people. Both the government and the people have to obey those laws by the Constitution. Conflicts and differences have to be resolved according to these laws. We will read more about this in later classes. Okay. Conflicts and differences have to be resolved according to these laws. So only based on the laws and regulations by the Constitution we can solve all the conflicts and differences taking place in society. Religious processions and celebrations can sometimes lead to conflicts. The next is the police is responsible for ensuring that violence does not take place. So the police has a role there. Here an example is given, a conflict based on rivers. We know in some of the states there are conflicts taking place based on rivers. Kaveri river problem we know, so we can go through it. Rivers too can become a source of conflict between states. A river may begin in one state, flow through another and end in a third. So it is saying that we know in the most of the case a river that has not boundary, so that it may flow from one state and flow through other state and get end in third state. So the sharing of river water between different states that the river goes through is becoming an issue of conflict. So at the time of sharing of taking drinking water from the river for various purposes. It is making a lot of conflicts there. For example, you may have heard about the Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. The water stored in Krishna Raja Sagara Dam in Karnataka is used for irrigating a number of districts and for meeting the needs of the city of Bengaluru. The water stored in Mettur Dam in Tamil Nadu is used for crops grown in the delta region of the state. So from this we can understood that the Kaveri river is mostly shared between the two states, that Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. A conflict arises because both the dams are on the same river. The downstream dam in Tamil Nadu can only be filled up if water is released from the upstream one located in Karnataka. So two dams are there. A downstream dam which is located in Tamil Nadu, and this dam in Tamil Nadu can only be filled up when the water is released from the upstream that is located in Karnataka. Therefore, both states cannot get as much water as they need for people in their states. So we know during the summer and summer long seasons, rainless seasons, there are some of the conflicts are become strengthened because of the lagging of water there. This leads to conflict. The central government has to step in and see that a fair distribution is worked out for both the states. So here central government has a role to resolve this issue. So the water have to share between the both two states in order to resolve that conflict there. So we can see the Kaveri river there, and is saying that the conflict is between the two states is about for last 30 years. Then next is equality and justice. One of the key ideas of democratic government is its commitment to equality and justice. Equality and justice are inseparable. So in a democratic country, equality and justice have main important roles for our society. The earlier practice of untouchability is now banned by law. We know in earlier times there were a lot of issues related with untouchability, but now it is banned by law. This group of people were denied education, transport or medical facilities, and even the chance to offer prayers. In our society, there is a general tendency to value and care for the boy child more than the girl child. So it is this is about inequality that is existing still in our society. We know when a girl child is born, then the family is thinking that she will become a burden for their family. If a boy is instead born there, they will proud of him. Okay, still it is existing mostly in the northern states. And because it is according to the survey reports, it is saying that most of the girl child mortality rates are there escalating in numbers in comparing with the male child, boy child. Okay, this means that society does not value the girl and boy child equally, and this is unjust. So what is meant by unjust? Here is unjust. Why is this saying that? Here here there is the unjust that is between the girl and boy child. There is no equality there. In this context, the government steps in to promote justice by providing special provisions that can enable girls to overcome the injustice that they are subjected to. So, in these types of case, the government can resolve these types of inequality problems in the society. Thus, it is possible that fee for girls might be waived or lowered in government schools or colleges. So, the empowerment of women is essential in our society, so that the free education for the girl child is a major important action for them. So, it is all about our chapter. Then the last, there are some of the questions are here. What are the various ways in which people participate in the process of government? So we have discussed some 2 or 3 ways in which the people can participate in the process of government. In elections, through rallies, signature campaigns like that. Then by organizing of tribals, women, etc. So like that you can confidently write that answer. Then why do you think we need the government to find solutions to many disputes or conflicts? So there are major disputes and conflicts there. So what is the role of government there to resolve those conflicts? Is there any role? Sir, just think that. What actions does the government take to ensure that all people are treated equally? So we know there are certain laws and regulations by constitution. Then what are the key ideas of democratic government? Make a list. Okay, thank you friends for your listening. Keep learning. Have a great day friends. Bye bye.